now check out the story of Hermine Hoffmann, also known as Carola Hoffmann. She was the wealthy woman supporting Adolf Hitler from the beginning. She was born in 1857 in Munich, and she also died in Munich on October 22, 1945. So she outlived Hitler only for some months. In 1920, she was already 61 years old, where Hitler was still quite a young man. And no, she had, we can say, twice of the age of Hitler back then. And she was back then in 1920s already widow. And like widow, she was quite an active woman. She had money. She ran a little hotel in Munich, Solln, an Herberge, we can say, so like in a pension hotel, I don't know. And she became something like Hitler's first foster mother and also sponsor. And there were also other foster mother. We don't know who was the great mother, but she was really called the Hitler Mutti or Hitler Mutter in Bavarian dialect, because Hitler spoke in private the Bavarian dialect, and at the end also in Austria people are speaking the Bavarian dialect. She was both a patron and a personal admirer of Adolf Hitler. In the Nazi party newspaper Völkischer Beobachter, it was the main newspaper, started slowly with, I don't know, 5,000 or then with a tirage of 20,000, and then going up and becoming a really newspaper that everybody read. But at the beginning it was a small. And in the Völkischer Beobachter, they wrote about her, and there she was referred always as a Frau Direktor Hoffmann. Yeah, because she was married to an elderly school principal, Schuldirektor, who died already, and then back in 1920s, and she was a widow, and with being the widow, she had the title of the man, inherited. By 1907, she was already widowed and ran the boarding house, the little hotel in Solln. Solln, it's in Munich. Yeah, it's in the south of Munich, very in the outskirts. A district in the southern part of Munich. Allegedly, this was the first headquarters of the Nazi parties also. She was offering also the house for the gatherings at the beginning. Her connection with Hitler dated back to the First World War. Yeah, that's an interesting story how they get to know each other. First, she came into contact with Hitler back then, and that's only also the reason why she assumed the role of a mother figure at this time already. And the interesting thing is that she contacted Hitler at a time Hitler was not famous nor powerful. He was really a nobody, because when he was in World War I, nobody knew him. He was really a nobody. And it was maybe more a thing by chance, because it happened more by chance, because during World War I, many women volunteered to provide clothing. It was the atmosphere. Everybody is working for World War I. We had a similar atmosphere also in France. We had all until the last peasant, the last worker in the factories, everybody was working for the front soldier, like supporting him. And also in Germany, we had such an atmosphere, and so many women volunteered, like helping. And so they choose a soldier, or maybe two or three, and supported these soldier for the time, contacted, wrote them letters, and provide them clothing or hand knitted socks, for example, handgestrickte Socken, food, and cigarettes. They sent them cigarettes, cigars, and they had one soldier and were in contact with with the concrete soldier. Hoffmann volunteered and was assigned to one soldier, and this soldier was named Adolf Hitler. Yeah, this relationship is documented also in postcards and letters. So Hitler were also writing letters back, and even he wrote postcards. Also, he made he painted things for her, like thanking for the things she sent. Hitler wrote in with a pencil in 1914. We had a postcard. This postcard was in 2008 April sold for $30,000. There are postcards sold only for more, only for $100,000. Postcards from Hitler are sold until today. Hitler wrote, "Dear Madam Director, liebe Frau, gnädige Frau Direktorin, after the fiercest battles of Geluveld." Yeah, Geluveld is there near to Ypres, where there were a famous battle in 1914, end of 1914. And there it's the border from Belgium and French today in the north. Right on the front line, I was promoted to corporal, and as if by miracle, I remained unharmed. Now we have 3 days leave. It's time to paint the church at Beselare. Beselare. Hitler writes Beselare. Once again, heartfelt thanks. Respectfully, Adolf Hitler, Gefreiter. Yeah, that was a postcard, and he painted the church for Hermine Hoffmann. Hitler was particularly delighted with cigars. She sent cigars to Hitler. In one postcard of 1915, he even thanked for her sending the cigars. At that time, Hitler seems to be still smoking enthusiastically, thanking for the cigars. Later, we know he became a fierce opponent of smoking, calling it the greatest danger. It was even, like the smoker was for him even worse than the alcoholist. Than alcohol. It was a bigger danger, he said. He would often tell women who smoked later, cigarettes ruin a beautiful woman, and their hair always smells of smoke. Yeah, that's at the end true. My opinion. Commentary. His secretary Traudl Junge recalled this like in her memories. The sponsorship evolved into a close friendship after World War I and lasted until the end 1945. Hermine Hoffmann became an important patron and ardent personal admirer of Hitler. She was among the first members of both the DAP and later the NSDAP Nazi Party. And according to her own account, she joined the DAP with an old number, probably around 10. It is documented that Hoffmann, Hitler said that he joined with the number 7. It is documented that Hoffmann was already a member by the 1919 and a devoted supporter of the noble ideals of the party. Hitler personally readmitted her into the newly founded NSDAP with a handshake on April 4, 1925. Because after the beer hall putsch in 1923, the NSDAP was initially banned and was later refounded in February 1924 under the same name. So these people get members again. And she was one of the first members in 1925. From 1920 onward, Hitler was a regular guest at Hermine Hoffmann's guest house. He dined there and received also new clothes. In short, she cooked for him and washed also his clothes at the beginning. Yeah, also The boarding house, the little hotel of Hermine Hoffmann, was a kind of served as a kind of refugee shelter and command post also for Hitler's followers. Also during the beer hall putsch in 1923, it was like a really command post, we can also say. In 1924, she visited Hitler 7 times while he was imprisoned in Landsberg in the prison. For Hitler, whose own mother, Clara Hitler, had died on December 21, 1907, Hermine Hoffmann was evidently a kind of substitute mother. She was affectionately referred to as Hitler's mother, Hitler Mutter in Bavarian, or Hitler Mutti. From the beginning, Hitler described her as a loyal comrade and early supporter. Later, she received also personal gifts from Hitler, personal tokens of appreciation and honorary titles from him personally. In January 1943, Hoffmann was awarded the Golden Party Badge of the NSDAP. She outlived Hitler, dying at the age of 88 on October 22 in 1945 in Munich, Solln, where she lived all her life. Curiously, very little has been written about her. Even all the famous Hitler biographers rarely mention her, although she was clearly, I think, it's my opinion that she was certainly not called Hitler's mother or Hitler Mutter without reason in Germany, or also from the party members in the early stage in the 20s. Photographs confirm that she visited Hitler personally even after his rise to power and maintained a confidential relationship also with him later, when Hitler was in power. That was everything about the wealthy woman. And in the next episode, we will continue with another example, like a wealthy woman who loved Hitler. Helene Bechstein, the piano manufacturer we will speak about. Victoria Dirksen, who ran the salon, the conservative salon. And we have also the deeply loyal Magda Goebbels, who was also a little bit like the wealthy woman style because she was married to a wealthy guy. Yes, and Magda Goebbels at the end followed even Hitler to her death at the end. She died together with Hitler, we can say. Or yes, she chose to die in the Führerbunker. That was everything for today, my friends. Thank you.